What's up, everybody? This is Jay. We're back at From Heroes to Icons for our must-have comics. And I don't know how I can say that must-have comics when there are a million comic books coming out this coming week. Today we will be covering the comics coming out for December 18th, 2019. And I'm going to have to take the hashtag that my boy Grab Those Keys always used to say, what a light week. And we're just happy to be in a collecting game right now. Grab 4 more short boxes so I can try to organize some of this mess. And I am working on my last gigantic haul for 2019. And it's a nice haul. Not a book that everybody likes, and they say that it's not too much of a nice read. But shout out to my boy Don the Comic Junkie. Trying to finish a nice little haul, and I got 47 books for less than $40. So look for that haul pretty soon. I believe they should be coming today. I think so. Yeah, today. So without further ado, might be a little bit longer video because of the amount of books and variants. But as always, most of the time, we're going to start off with DC Comics. We're going to start off with Aquaman 55 by Kelly Sue DeConnick and Robson Rocha. Rocha is doing cover A, and Chris Stevens is doing cover B. Basket Full of Heads, number 3 by Joe Hill and Leo Mox. And I have not read this book yet, but I heard it's pretty dope. Cover A is by Riko Murakami, and cover B is by Tula Lote. Should be pretty dope. Batman Last Night on Earth, number 3. This is the finale for this book by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. Capullo is doing cover A, and Raphael Albuquerque is doing cover B. Batman Superman number 5 by Joshua Williamson and David Marquez. Marquez is doing cover A, and Jim Chung is doing cover B. I guess I will have to get the trade for this one. The finale and the true end of Tom King's unrighteous reign, as some would call, on Batman ends this week with Batman 85 by Tom King and Mikhail Hanen. Tony Daniels is doing cover A, and Francesco Mattina is doing cover B. Do yourself a favor and get both covers. Catwoman 18, written and drawn by Joel Jones, and cover B is by Sira Anka. Okay. A book 2 years and 1 month in the making. Doomsday Clock number 12 is finally here as we get to see the culmination of this grandiose story. And wow, took a long time. And this is by Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. Gary Frank is doing both covers, and we have a third cover, a yellow blank variant, which looks pretty darn cool. I think I might just get 2 of those just on the strength of having them. Looks pretty dope. Flash Forward number 4 by Scott Lobdell and Brett Booth. Evan Shaner, is doing cover A, and Inhuck Lee is doing cover B. Harleen number 3, drawn, written, and covers by Stefan Sejic. I got the first one, and then I don't know. Number 2 is still available, so I might grab that also. Infected, the Commissioner number 1 by Paul Jenkins and Jack Herbert. I think this may be the most interesting out of all the Infected series, just because we all saw Commissioner Gordon get infected way back in the Batman Who Laughs miniseries. Joker Killer Smile number 2. This is by Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino. Sorrentino is doing cover A, and Jeff Lemire is doing cover B. Although this book, and I had to talk to Trung at my LCS to figure this out. Although this Joker Killer Smile is in a magazine size format, it's still only the size of a regular comic book. It's still only 32 pages. And it's not like $8.99 or nothing like that. It's $5.99, I guess, for the size, but it still has the same amount of pages as a regular comic book. So when you pick it up, don't be surprised that it feels a little light for its size, for its dimensions. Justice League 38 by Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV, and Jorge Jimenez. Jimenez is doing cover A, and Tony Daniels is doing cover B. And I am not sure, but I believe this may be the last issue for this creative team. So make sure you grab this book. I believe the finale is going to be something else. And I reposted a little black and white picture that Jimenez put up on his Instagram. Super hot. Last God number 3 by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Riccardo Federici. And Federici is doing the one cover that they have. Fantastic book. Really nice series to end the new year with. And fully painted. Beautiful, beautiful book. Legion of Superheroes number 2 by Brian Michael Bendis and Ryan Sook. Sook is doing cover A, and Jim Chung is doing cover B. Shazam! 2 times in 1 month. Shazam number 9 by Jeff Johns and Dale Inglesham. Mark Buckingham is doing cover A, and Carrie Andrews is doing cover B. And you know, we always get 2 issues of Shazam. Suicide Squad number 1 by Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo. Ivan Reyes is doing cover A. Francesco Mattina is doing cover B. And cover C is a blank cover. And I believe on the outer markets, there are like a million other covers. And I believe either Comic Mint or Comics Exposure has a really nice painted Harley Quinn cover for the Suicide Squad. Even though I'm not a fan, definitely give a shout out to the artwork. Teen Titans 37 by Adam Glass and Bernard Chang. Bernard Chang is doing cover A, and Carrie Randolph is doing cover B. And I believe there will be a series of cover Bs by Carrie Randolph for Teen Titans. And it's going to be each cover will focus on one of the Titans. It looks pretty dope so far. Wonder Woman Dead Earth number 1. Daniel Warren Johnson is writing, drawing, and also doing both covers. And this book gets a special look at it because finally, there is another Black Label book that is neither Superman nor Batman. Somebody else is finally getting some love on the Black Label. And they definitely need to do a Green Arrow, a Green Lantern, and some other stuff. But definitely I would like to see a Green Arrow and a Green Lantern. Not specifically together, but I would like to see, some of that old school longbow hunters on Green Arrow, Black Label. Wonder Woman Giant Size number 2. If you've been grabbing those on the cheap, I think they're $5.99 or $4.99. Great book to have. 100 pages for $5. You can't beat that. Wonder Woman 83 by Steve Orlando and Jesus Morano. Cover A is by Ken Marion, and cover B, very nice, on the negative space with the red, is by, of course, Jenny Frison. Last book for DC Comics, Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen number 1 by James Tynion IV and Steve Epting. Epting is doing cover A, and Riccardo Federici is doing cover B. Next up, moving over to Image Comics, we have Middle West 13 by Scotty Young and Jorge Corona. George Corona, however you pronounce his name. I gotta jump back on this book. The Old Guard, Force Multiplied number 1 by Greg Rucka and Leandro Fernandez. Next up, we have our indie books. We have Angel number 4 by Brian Edward Hill and Gleb Melenkov. Cover A is by Dan Panazwin. Cover B is by Scott Buono Cristano. We just gonna call him Scott B from now on. And cover C is by Steve Moores. Very, very nice right there. Folklore's number 2 by Matt Kind and Matt Smith. Matt Smith is doing cover A, and Michael Avon Oming is doing cover B. Really nice treat right here. Claus, as in Claus, Santa Claus, and The Life and Time of Joe Christmas, number 1 by Grant Morrison and Dan Mora. I believe one issue of this book comes out a year, and a customer of mine, his wife, gave me my first Claus book, and I was just like, this looks crazy. It's really cool, really hip kind of fantasy take on the mythology of Santa Claus. So I would implore you, please grab that book. You need it in your life. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 46 by Ryan Perrott and Danielle DiNicolio. Jamal Campbell is doing cover A. Gani Montes is doing the foil variant for cover B, and Chris Anka is doing cover C. One of my favorite books of the year, Once and Future, number 5 by Karen Gillian and Dan Mora. And color me bad, man. I have to have 2 issues of every book of this Once and Future, man. Just gotta have one to read and just one to stash. That's just me. Love Dan Mora's art, and Karen Gillian is killing it. Vampire State Building number 3 by Angie and Charlie Atlard, and cover A and cover B is both by Charlie Atlard, and I believe this has 3 other variants, and one of them is a homage cover of Spider-Man number 1, the McFarlane. I really didn't care for that, seeing a vampire in that sitting position like that, but if you like it, I love it. And that is it for our indie books. Make Mine Marvel, or Make Mine Boom Studios. For Marvel Comics, we have 2099 Omega number 1 by Nick Spencer and Geraldo Sandoval. Patrick Gleason is doing cover A. R.B. Silva is doing cover B, which I believe is an incentive cover. And Nick Bradshaw is doing cover C, which I believe is a 1 in 25. Amazing Spider-Man 36, also by Nick Spencer, and penciled by Patrick Gleason. I'm only showing one cover for that, and that is by Tony Daniels. I'm kind of going against Spider-Man right now. That book has been horrible. I'm still buying it, but it's just being stacked somewhere. Please, in the new year, do better. Ooh. Annihilation Scourge Omega number 1 by Matthew Rosenberg and Manuel Garcia. Jose Maria Casanovas is doing cover A, and Arthur Adams is giving us a truly annihilated cover for cover B. Avengers 28 by Jason Aaron, and it says the art is by Dale Keown. And I only have one cover for that, and that is by Ed McGuinness. The hunt for the new Star Brand continues as Thor is infected by the Brood. Please excuse the pauses. Have to take a sip of coffee. It's freezing over here in New York. Black Panther 19 by Tanase Coates and Chris Sprouse. Cover A is by Megan Hedrick, and cover B is the first time in a long time that the Black Panther has had a cover B, and that is by Dustin Weaver. This book is looking like the last series now of the Black Panther. Definitely this cover B here is looking great. Conan Serpent War number 2 by Jim Zub and Vanessa Del Rey. Carlos Pacheco is doing cover A. Luke Ross is doing cover B, and Giuseppe Camicoli is doing cover C. Daredevil 15. We get Daredevil twice this month. That's what's up. Daredevil 15 by Chip Zdarsky. Mobili and Chichetto both are doing the artwork. Julian Titino Tedesco is doing cover A, and Ryan Brown is giving us a 2020 variant for cover B. We have an Eternals number 1 facsimile coming out. Make sure you grab that. I don't think that book is too expensive on a regular. If you get it graded already, you should be able to get that for a decent price. But another great facsimile coming out before the new year, and make sure that is on the list. Eternals, Secrets from the Marvel Universe, #1, by Mark Grenwald and Ron Wilson, and that cover is done by Todd Nauck. Excalibur #4 by Tiny Howard and Marcus Toe. Cover A is by Mahmoud Asrar, and cover B is by Cale New. Fallen Angels #4 by Brian Edward Hill and Simon Krugansky. Very, very nice. Ghost Spider #5 by Shonen McGuire and Takeshi Miyazawa. I don't want to get that wrong. Cover A is by Jorge Molina, and cover B is by Mahmoud Asrar, and that is a 2020 variant. 2020 variant is fire. Guardians of the Galaxy #12. This is the finale for this series, and it shall continue again with #1 next month, I believe, and that is by Donnie Cates and Corey Smith. Cover A is by Jeff Shaw. Cover B is by Tom Raney, and cover C is by Declan Shavy. History of the Marvel Universe #6 by Mark Waid and Javier Rodriguez. Cover A is by Steve McNiven, and cover B is by Javier Rodriguez. A great book to go over with anybody that really wants to get into comics or know any of the history of Marvel Comics. Invaders, I did not write the number down for this, moving too quick again, by Chip Zdarsky and Carlos Magno, and the cover is by Butch Geis. Another big book this week, King Thor #4 by Jason Aaron and various other artists, I believe Assad Rebic, Steve Epting, and Mike Del Mundo, maybe all doing artwork on this book. And Assad Ribic is doing cover A. Mike Del Mundo is doing a nice little homage to Jason Aaron with all the characters around him. And cover C is by Steve Epting. And this is a ratio variant, either a 1:10 or a 1:25, but a magnificent cover nonetheless. Marauders #4 by Jerry Dugan and Mateo Loai. One of the better books of the Dawn of X. Definitely a book to pick up. New Mutants #4 by Ed Brisson and Marco Falia. I have dropped that, but if you are picking up all the books from the Dawn of X, you cannot miss it. Spider-Man #3 arrives by J.J. Abrams and his son and Sarah Pacelli. Oliver Copel is doing cover A. Giuseppe Camacoli is doing cover B, and Sarah Pacelli is doing an incentive cover for cover C. Tony Stark Iron Man #19 by Dan Slott and Valerio Shitai. Pete Woods is doing what I put up for cover A. Cover B is by Alexander Lozano, and cover C is by Larry Stroman. Last book for Marvel is X-Force #4 by Ben Percy and Joshua Cassara. Everybody's been saying that book's pretty hot, but I haven't been reading it, so I guess I'm on the outskirts. And that is it, people. A super heavy week coming for the week before Christmas. Get your comic books. Buy them, love them, and read them. For the covers of the week, we have a few covers. I put Iron Man 19, the Alexander Lozano cover. I just love Iron Man in that position that he has right there. That's definitely a cover buy. Once in Future #5 by Dan Mora. Gotta have my Once in Future. Wonder Woman 83, the Jenny Frison cover. She always does pretty good with that. And Annihilation Scourge Omega, the Arthur Adams cover. For our books of the week, we're going to have Spider-Man #3 by Abrams and Pacelli. Of course, late and last but not least, we have Doomsday Clock #12 by Jeff Johns and Gary Frank, 2 years and a month late, but we are getting it. And Wonder Woman Dead Earth #1, as I said, finally a book that's not Batman or Superman from the Black Label. And Klaus, A Day in the Life #1 by Dan Mora. Definitely need to have that. And for our book of the week, we're going to say goodbye to Jason Aaron on King Thor number 4. So I will see you guys next week for a very, very short list. And definitely will try to do a top 10 book, writers, and artists and covers of 2019. And I will see you soon. And I will catch you at the same bat time and at the same bat channel. Peace.